Michael Voris will be speaking in Houston, Texas on Saturday, May 21st at a day-long conference on the topic of hell, what it is, and how to avoid it. For more information, please click on the link next to today's Vortex and News. That's Houston, Texas, Saturday, May 21st. God bless you. Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Notre Dame demonstrator suing. Though charges have been dropped against the original 88 anti-Obama protesters at Notre Dame, a separate protester is going after the university and local police. Karen Torres was protesting alone at a separate campus location next to a large group of Obama picketers and is taking legal action because she was the only pro-lifer arrested for demonstrating on, quote, private university property. Her attorney, Tom Dixon, also legal counsel to the original 88, points out, quote, county officers weren't just wandering around looking for people to arrest on private property. They had to be given marching orders from Notre Dame. Torres was never charged by Notre Dame after her arrest, but she was held in jail for 7 hours, a direct violation of her rights to free speech. ACLU calls cross offensive. A cross in plain view at a public school graduation is being called a violation of First Amendment rights. A high school in New Jersey traditionally holds its commencement at a large venue owned by a Methodist community that has a large white cross hanging over the entrance. The ACLU threatened legal action after an attendee claimed to be offended by the venue's religious display last year because the Methodist community has refused to take down or cover up the cross and 3 other religious signs. Representatives of the community are standing firm in the face of persecution, saying that no graduation tradition is worth compromising who they are. Connor contributions create scandal. A public fundraiser has been thrown for Obama by a wealthy staff member of the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Boston. Jack Connors, a wealthy philanthropist, is the chair for the Finance Council and Campaign for Catholic Schools in Beantown and raised over $2 million for Obama's political campaign, according to the Associated Press. Connor's actions are obviously in direct violation of the Code of Conduct for church personnel, since both his example and monetary contributions directly endorse abortion and attack traditional marriage. The fundraiser was attended by 900 patrons who paid for seats ranging in price from $200 to as much as over $35,000. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Suicide stays in Switzerland. Swiss voters say yes to assisted suicide after a recent referendum that will keep laws endorsing euthanasia on the books. LifeSite News reports overwhelming results as 85% of voters rejected a proposal to end assisted suicide and 75% declined to prevent suicide tourism from other countries. Commenting on the vote, a representative from the Federal Democratic Union says, quote, those who take their own life do not die in dignity, but in moral distress and despair. International pro-life coalitions have expressed concern over mental reservations of choice involved in the practice because many elderly and handicapped individuals presented with a decision to die do so out of fear of being abandoned. And lastly, sterilization is healthcare in Bangladesh. Population control policy is encouraged in the South Asian nation by providing free vasectomies and tubal ligations, while basic healthcare is merely unobtainable and unaffordable. The race for sterilizing the general population is so out of control that doctors even sterilize women without their knowledge during other surgical procedures. Catholic missions and silk shelters provide some relief, but caregivers are forced to make painful choices due to increasing costs of the most basic medical supplies. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup, right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out the Vortex today, where Michael entertains the question, how many will be saved? Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tell all your friends about us, and as always, God bless.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
CatholicUnderground.com, the podcast about our Catholic faith and new media.